hand swollen makes me realize I never want to be fat.
That's where we're starting.
Why is your hand swollen?
Because stupid dog tripped me. I've threatened, actually, sending that dog to China many times. She's getting closer and closer.
That is going to be some expensive shipping and probably not get there for a month.
I think it's probably illegal, too.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Amazon.
Customs, bro.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll just tell her to shut up.
They eat dogs in China.
That's the point of me sending her to China.
Therefore, it's food stuff.
Dude, in one of my classes, there's actually a girl from Tokyo, Japan, and we had to like answer a question of like, if you get rid of any foods, what would it be? And she was like, dog. I was like, wait, have you actually? She's like, yeah.
She's
it's
had
disgusting.
I would try dog.
Oh, man.
You're
I'm not
heartless.
above it.
You're heartless.
Do you own a dog?
No.
Oh,
He dislikes many dogs.
I am a very
Not a dog
quickly... I'm just not a huge pet person. I very quickly make a decision whether I like or dislike a dog.
Yeah.
Like, I like my brother's dogs because they're both very happy.
They're
and
tiny.
They actually...
They're small dogs?
I really dislike big dogs because you actually have to do stuff when you take care of them.
Yeah.
As a, like, just as in house sitting.
No,
okay,
yeah,
because I
for
don't
sure.
own one. It's like, I have to open the door for you because you can't just go through a stupid little
You
dog
get a dog
door.
door. We have to train him, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, well,
But dogs are definitely more high maintenance than cats. But I hate cats.
I hate cats.
I hate cats.
Cats are
but
very much like
I'm more of a dog.
I
guy.
like cats that like people. Like my brother's cat in this case never leaves.
Not a people person.
It always hides if anyone's over. So I've never even got to really like pet it.
Yeah.
And they've had it for over a
and
year.
they'll disappear. Yeah, you probably don't even know if
Cats
they'll
are little
lose it.
assholes.
Meanwhile, another one of our friends who we worked at Lone Tree with, this is Gabe, has like 4 cats at his parents' house, and all of them, you walk in and they'll just swarm you because they love everybody. So
It'd be intense to have a bunch of cats swarming.
I think RJ
But they
doesn't
rub
mind.
all up
Yeah,
on
RJ
you
doesn't
and
mind
rub you
cats
in.
because the rubbing, it's the jumping that bothers you, right? When dogs like jump and cats. Don't
Well,
really
dogs
jump
jump and cats more like just rub all over
Yeah.
you, essentially.
yeah, and again, it's hard because Ben's dogs do jump, but it might be because I like made my decision on them when they were little and weren't doing that, to where it's like I'm willing to like look past it now. Whereas like with Lulu, literally the first interaction I have when playing video games, it like jumps up and like tries to
Not playing video
like,
games.
no, get out of here.
Yeah, she's a roughhouser for sure.
She's just dumb. She's a dumb dog. She's really smart, but
she's super hyperactive though.
yeah,
She's
she
very
lacks
active.
like common sense stuff, but she's very smart. Like I watched her like put her paw out and like open her door, like the lock to her cage the other day, and like open it.
It's like the Velociraptor in Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
it's like
Right.
you can do that, but you slam your head on just about every wall that isn't 3 feet of you because you're too excited to realize there's a wall there. Like,
Yeah.
so she does really dumb things, but she's really smart. So it's, yeah.
She's young though. So.
Her latest thing is she's not allowed on the bed, so she does one of 2 things. She waits till we're asleep to get on the bed, or she just puts her paws on the bed because she knows she can get away with her 2 front paws, and then she just like.
See, I would not put up with
RJ
that.
would move out.
Get out of here,
Yeah,
Lulu.
no, and so she
Lock
sits
her
there,
out.
and like she does it at like 4:35 in the morning.
Definitely would have put
Oh
up
yeah,
with
no,
that.
that's yeah.
And
no,
I
you start
literally
messing
give
with the
her-
sleep schedule.
Yeah, no,
definitely.
I
Make
give
you
her,
learn
like,
a lesson
yeah.
quick.
No, and I
I do not condone beating dogs.
That is the thing. I've yelled at her, like I've flicked her. I've done everything.
Spray it
and,
with water.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's probably the best way. Just a water bottle.
Oh, she doesn't care. She like
She probably started.
she realizes, oh, you're playing with me. So I think like when I smack her on the nose, she's like, we're playing now. I'm like, no, it's punishment. Go sit in a corner.
She's using it as a means of like.
Yeah. She's like, you touched me. She like acts as if we don't like pet her or anything, which we do. Like I'll sit there and throw a ball with her for like 2 hours, and then it's like after 2 hours I'm tired of throwing the ball, and she's still like, no, I want to play. Like, and she'll just like, or she'll get up on something and I grab her and like push her off, and she's like, you touched me again. That means we're playing. And it's like, no, that means I'm telling you to get away. Like, she can't put 2 and 2 together very well.
Yeah.
At all. But yeah. So anyway, transition from pets. I don't think you've watched it yet.
What?
But RJ, what did you think of Tusk?
No, I did not watch.
I
it,
just
but I know
skimmed
about
through.
it.
Like at first I said I was like, I'll actually watch the
it.
whole thing, And it's
Isn't
a
it
very
shorter one too? It's like 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's 90 minutes, but it was a slow start to where I was just like, all right, just gonna skip through this.
Like I said, you can skip a lot of stuff.
Isn't it more of a contained movie as well?
It's fucking weird. That's
yeah.
So I had heard.
You showed me the picture right before dinner the other night.
Yeah, of the walrus. So before we get it, so this was a movie. Man. I like Kevin Smith, and I know he does like weird like indie projects. I don't know.
I like Justin Long too.
Yeah, and so and I like walruses. It's my favorite animal. So it was like
that's we're going.
Oh, so you're gonna be.
Do you still like walruses?
no. There's not where you think it's going.
Is this what you do in your private time?
Yeah. No, and so it was one of those movies that I heard about, and like.
I'm not gonna spend any time alone with him anymore.
I wouldn't.
So no, it was like I had heard about it. And I was like, it's gonna be weird, but it's kind of interesting. So essentially, it's like almost kind of human centipede, like, but instead of turning him into centipede, like he turns the dude into a walrus, and it's so weird. And so I was looking up, and I was like, all right, I want to watch it. So I was like, I don't want to pay for it. Yeah, I wasn't gonna spend $10 on this movie, and I found it on YouTube, and I was watching.
That was the other thing is because it was like a YouTube
available.
Well, it was people who would put it up there illegally, but the way they like get away with it, at least for now, until it eventually gets reported enough times that it gets caught, is it's shrunk to like a fourth of the screen. It has a bunch of background stuff.
Oh, so mine, I don't know, mine was in a movie theater, so it looked like there were movie theater seats and the screen on the movie theater, so you only see about like...
so again, you can see why I didn't want to watch the full thing when it's...
That's how people do it, though. There was this guy, like, literally a month or two ago that, like, was on Twitch, which is that app.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and
he was streaming gaming, and he was streaming a UFC live
but pretending to play
fight, pretending to play it as though it was a game, and no one caught it. But it had such enough attention that it, like, was, like, it went viral after the fact, almost.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty genius. But
yes, continuing with Tusk.
So anyway, and I was like, okay, we should watch this for the podcast because it's such a weird movie, but it has like I think it has some good moments, little good moments.
Basically, the quick rundown is Justin Long is this kind of honestly he's an asshole. He's an asshole podcaster.
All podcasters are assholes.
Wait, who is?
Justin Long's character.
Oh, he is?
And
I didn't know.
He goes to...
And
basically, they just make fun of people.
Okay.
On their podcast.
Like
so in this case, he's going to Canada to interview this guy that they had found a viral video of the kid accidentally cutting his leg off with a katana. And he's going to like...
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they've made fun of him there, and now he's going to Canada to interview him. He gets there, kid has killed himself.
Yeah, it's
so he's like, well,
dark
great. Now I'm in Canada, and what am I gonna do here? I came out here to do a show.
Yeah.
He goes to the bathroom in this like bar and finds this written note of this like I'm an old man who
has stories.
I have like stories and no one to tell them to. It's about he's trying to like rent out a room, but the guy, Justin Long goes, "Hey, I'm interested in your stories. Can I come over and listen?" And then he goes over. The guy starts talking about his time spent marooned on an island where he had been saved by a walrus.
Well, first he was in like the military.
I skipped all that part,
honestly.
I just skipped to the
he was in the military. He knew like a famous writer, this, and this. And so they have like this really genius conversation, which I like that part because the dialogue was really cool because like this dude's very knowledgeable and had met people in the war. And... so, like, him and Justin Long are, like, pretty much, like, Justin Long is intrigued by him, and they're picking each other's minds.
And Justin Long is drinking tea that has been offered him this whole
time. Yes. And so Justin Long... and then, and this guy's also in a wheelchair. So Justin Long thinks, like, this old dude... So then out of nowhere, Justin Long, like, passes out.
Well, he passes out kind of as the guy is telling him the story of how he was shipwrecked, thought he was going to die, and then woke up because he was basically saved by a walrus that took him to an island. And then this walrus, Mr. Tusk as he calls him, becomes like his companion on the island. Okay. And that's when Justin Long
So Justin Long passes out, and then Justin Long wakes up, and he's like in a wheelchair, and he's like really dazed.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happened?
Drugged.
Yeah, he's like, what happened? He's like, can't feel my legs. He's like, that's the medicine. He's like, what happened? He's like, well, you got bit by a brown recluse. Man, that was a hard word to say at the moment. And so Justin Long was like, what? And then Justin Long, I can't feel my feet. And he lifts the blanket up, and he's missing his leg. And the whole time he's sitting there, the old man is like, he has a walrus tusk, and he's like polishing it, which I don't know if it ever says. I thought it was from the leg bone that he made it from, I don't know if he already had it. I had just assumed it may have been from the leg bone.
Maybe it was. I just assumed it was an actual tusk. Because I feel like if it was made out of the leg bone, there would be very clear parts where like you'd see the inside the marrow.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I thought maybe it was, or he had a tusk, but he's sitting there polishing it. And then Justin Long at this point starts freaking out. And he's like, well, there was a doctor here. He gave you medicine. And he's like, why am I tied to the chair? He's like, the doctor had to tie you there because you're still numbed. And he's like, well, where's this doctor? I want to talk to him. And the dude's like, he's doing his rounds. And then there's something that we can have a phone to call people. He was like, the doctor didn't want you disturbed, so he took all the phones from the house. Which at this point, Justin Long's like, wait, what?
Like, you can't keep buying this.
Yeah. No, so he starts like kind of falling for it. And then it was like they go to dinner. And like they're at dinner. And they're like this big table. And he's on one end and Justin Long's on the other. And at this point, this dude is still in the wheelchair. Which is kind of important. No, the dinner happened when he was bit. So.
I skipped the dinner part.
Yeah, no, the dinner... No, so they do have dinner, and then he starts questioning about the spider. And he's like, what did the spider look like? And he's like, your arachnid friend. And so he starts talking real smart, and then Justin Long was like, there was no spider, was there? And starts freaking out, and then the dude starts, like, mocking Justin Long. Like, Justin Long goes, help, and he goes, help, like, and he's like, the itsy bitsy spider. Like, he starts going crazy. Like, he starts just going, like, you start seeing this dude's, like, fucking insane.
Yeah.
So Justin Long gets back to his room and hears his phone ringing. And so, like...
Wait, how does he get back to his room, though?
Because he has a room there, and the dude, like, took his stuff, but he hears his phone.
Is he in a wheelchair, too?
So Justin Long's still in a wheelchair, and he's, like, tied to the wheelchair. And he's still kind of, like, doped up a little bit. And so he hears his phone ring, so he gets to it. Because he had called his, he calls his girlfriend...
While he's at the bar. Or convenience store.
Earlier, he called her, but this time he's, hears his phone, he gets it back, and he calls to... tell her, like, hey, I'm being kidnapped, this dude's trying to turn me into walrus, this and this, and, she doesn't answer, and then he calls his best friend, who's Osment, Haley Joel Osment, plays the other dude on the podcast with him, and neither of them answer, because it turns out they were sleeping together, but, so, neither of them answer.
Missed that part, I guess.
No, they're sleeping together, so, neither of them answer, and then the dude hears him on the phone, and then, like, tackles him, which is this is the first time I think you see this dude out of the chair. So, and then it just goes black, and then it goes to the two, they wake up, they hear the call, they're booking a thing to Canada, going to find him. Then it turns to, like, which I thought this part was kind of cool, just cinematic how it was filmed, is you just see a bunch of, like, anatomy stuff and walrus anatomy stuff on the walls, and then you see his tools with blood, and you know he's, like, working on him, but you see, like, a foot and an ice chest, and then, like, it kind of cuts by the end of it, and Long, he's sewed up all right here. Like, so this is sewed to here. So his arms are kind of like this, like walrus. His legs are cut off at, like, the knee. Both of them at this point. So he's getting all sewed and he's getting worked on. And then he had said that, like, he's like, I have a suit. And he's like, this can be two ways. You can live as a walrus or die now, pretty much. And so, and then it wakes up and then you see the creepy thing of the walrus. He puts him in this walrus suit, which is made of
human skin.
Yeah, of other victims and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And
other field
and
walruses?
He's like sewed in and stuff.
Yeah, huh?
Alright, I'm just kidding.
Well,
like, were they field walruses?
Well, it kind of talks about it a little bit.
Or was he just collecting a bunch of bodies to make one walrus? Because, you know.
And that's why
to not continue to bog it down just because we've been very descriptive with a lot of this other stuff. Basically, yeah, he turns him into a walrus. There's one point where he starts calling him Mr. Tusk instead of whatever his original
and that goes back to him, the story about him falling asleep on the
because he decided that was like he misses his old companion because you learned that he killed Mr. Tusk to survive.
And then got saved like shortly
and then kind of like regretted it. And so now every year on the anniversary of that, he creates a new Mr. Tusk and gives them the opportunity to fight back, basically. And so there's one point where he forces Justin Long's character into the water, and you see the corpse of a dead former Mr. Tusk who had failed.
Shoot.
I didn't see that part. I missed that.
He skipped that
what?
part.
I was scared.
Well, because we both skimmed through it, so we missed different parts. But yeah, eventually, as that's going on, the other two meet a character played by Johnny Depp, who's like an investigator.
Which I actually loved. His character, I thought,
honestly,
did really
I kind of
well.
skipped a lot of that stuff.
His stuff was really well. I like the accent.
But they eventually, one way or another, they track it down, so they're going to this at the same day that the anniversary is.
Oh, okay.
And Justin Long hears their voices as they kind of burst into the house, and that gives him the strength he needs to overcome a start. He uses the tusks to stab.
Well, and it was kind of weird. Like the battle scene, the dude started off in his own Mr. Tusk outfit, so they were both.
The other guy has his own walrus.
Yeah, and he like put it on, and he was like.
But he's not sewn into it.
Yeah, he's not sewn into it, and then they're fighting, and then like Justin Long kind of wins, and he's like, "But here's the thing: is like, I've evolved or something like that into my true form," and he stands up and gets out of the suit, and he's a human again, and he gets a knife, and he's going to like stab him, but then he like stabs him in the foot with his tusk. And then like tackles him and like stabs him in the neck or something like that.
So they basically break in, find him turned into a walrus. He can't talk anymore. All he can do is.
Did he cut out his tongue, or was he just choosing not to talk? Like just because he kind of became a walrus.
He clearly could not talk. Period. But I don't know about the tongue. Does it look like
he still had his teeth in his tongue? No, because
I don't. They could have messed up his vocal cords too.
Yeah.
I skimmed through, so I don't know exactly what he did, but he could not talk.
Yeah.
And so Johnny Depp's character pulls up the gun, then it cuts to 1 year later. And this is the part that I think was the worst part of the movie. Mm-hmm. They cut to him literally living in a zoo. Like, he's still a fucking person.
No, they turned the house. They turned the house that he was turned into a zoo.
He's still a person.
That makes no sense.
It's okay. Let's see. Maybe the doctors do their best to turn him back to his human state. Maybe he lives as a disabled person, but he's a person.
Yeah. And then
or you kill him. One of the two options. Like, there's never any way where you
turn. Who would go to that
like
zoo?
Literally, it's at the 1 year later at the zoo. His girlfriend and friend come.
Crime scene.
And it's back in the pool. They have a pool with a ball and like a little hut.
And they bring him a fish and throw it down to him. They're like, "I still love you." And then it cuts this thing of like, the thing that separates man from animal is crying. Something along those lines. And you see him like, even though he's still like a walrus and living as a walrus now, like shed a tear. And it's kind of like the end of it. It's like, he's a person!
Yeah, no. Because I guess the whole thing was the dude turned him into a walrus. And at that point he was just, because he even says you've made the full
to see this guy? As a walrus?
Yeah.
No one else was there at the time.
But I showed you the picture. The fucking suit is creepy.
Well, and that's the other thing is, it's super creepy. It's made up of other human skins. It totally would have rotted away.
Probably,
yeah. So it was, what I did well, one, I want to talk about Johnny Depp's part. I thought that part was really cool. And so Kevin Smith actually did an interview where, because Kevin Smith even was like, this is going to be the worst movie ever, but I like this kind of shit,
I heard somewhere that this was like partly crowdfunded too, right?
Yeah, he did stuff.
So.
And so Johnny Depp pretty much did it to next to nothing. I guess Kevin Smith and Johnny Depp's daughters go to the same school. They're actually, Johnny Depp's daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter are the store clerks that are there when...
They overhear Justin Long talking to the guy on the phone, they're the ones who end up directing.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. But so they're good friends, and he wanted Quentin Tarantino to do that part. But Tarantino thought he was asking to be the part that Justin Long was, and Tarantino was like, I don't want to be turned into a fucking walrus. And then Kevin Long was like, Tarantino doesn't turn down any acting role, he turned down this. He's like, this is going to be the fucking shittiest movie ever. And so, like, he went to his fan base, he's like, you guys still want this? And they're like, yeah. So he just threw it out to Johnny Depp, and he's like, Johnny Depp took forever, and Johnny Depp's like, I want to do the Walrus movie, but I'm filming something during that time, so can, like, you start filming, like,
he had to pick a different role.
And then, no, it was the same role, but he's like, and then, can I come back? And Kevin Smith's like, Johnny Depp's gonna be my film, I'll do fucking anything for you. And he's like, yeah, like, so they had the whole movie filmed. The whole movie only took 16 days to film.
Oh, wow.
And then, so Johnny Depp filmed his stuff in like 2 days. They had already filmed everything but Johnny Depp's part. They come back, Johnny Depp flies out, and Johnny Depp asks Kevin Smith, he's like, he's like, do you need anything? He's like, well, can you pay for makeup artist? Kevin Smith's like, yeah, I'm not paying you anything, like, makeup artist is fine. And he's like, yeah, and so Johnny Depp has this fake nose. And so they have this whole conversation where Kevin Smith comes in and Johnny Depp has this fake nose, and he's like, what do you think? Kevin Smith's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And he's like, does it look like a fucking penis? And so Kevin was like, I mean, now that you notice it, it looks kind of penisy. And he's like, because I was talking to Osment, and we're thinking we should put a vein down the side of it.
Oh my god.
And he was like, fucking, you're Johnny Depp in my movie. Do whatever you want.
So he got his own custom nose for the film?
Yeah, for this film. And so he does. I thought his accent and his part was really awesome. And he was talking with Kevin Smith. He's like, every now and then, I'm just going to turn so they can see, like, the penis look. And he's like, I'm just going to throw it in there in the middle of a monologue. And then so it comes to one part, like his opening monologue that you see him in.
Skipped it.
Yeah, it's really his parts where because he and the guy that plays like the bad guy have this moment where the bad guy's acting like in a different accent, like disguising himself. Oh. Him and Johnny Depp, and apparently they're both great actors. I can't remember the guy who did like the crazy dude, but they're like going at it, and they have this scene that's really cool because they're both like how they describe it. It's like two masters of acting, just like going at it. Yeah, going at it. And it's a really cool scene. It's a really cool scene. But anyway, the opening monologue, Johnny Depp didn't realize he had to memorize it. He thought they're going to go back and film it in the studio later. So Kevin Smith was like, well, do you want to do other stuff and we can come back to it? And Johnny Depp was like, no, give me like 15 minutes. Memorized the whole thing. And Kevin Smith was like, he actually nailed it his first time. But he's like, every now and then you can see him
Michael
like turn.
Parks.
Yeah, Michael Parks. And he's like, every now and then Johnny Depp will be going and just in the middle of the thing just turn so you can see. He wanted to throw it in there so you can see like the penis nose. Oh my gosh. Kevin Smith was like, Johnny Depp, if you want to wear a penis on your nose, Tusk is the movie you do that in. Like, he's like, so shit. Like, so it was just funny, like, the kind of aftermath. Like, they all knew it was, like, a crazy movie. But apparently Johnny Depp was like, I'm so big now, I hardly get to do these weird little stupid films anymore. Yeah.
Indie films.
Yeah, and he, like, so he loves them, so that's why he loved to do it. But it was one of those movies I felt like the acting in it in some parts was really cool, but the overall concept was weird. Him becoming a walrus and like saying walrus at the end, it was just like, yeah.
Well, again, I feel like even the movie itself could, as kind of weird as it was, literally could have been saved just by not having him stay a walrus at the end.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that just takes you out of any believability there.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Because, at the point, it was a weird movie.
Well, you could think some sick, twisted person would want to do that, but then to make, like, a joke after fact, it almost takes away the credibility of the concept.
Yeah. So, and
undermines the concept.
Yeah, and so I don't know if it was supposed to be, like, an actual horror movie or, like, a kind of mockumentary horror movie or what, but, it was just a weird movie, so, like, I watched it and I was, like, by myself, and I just had, like, it's not like it's a scary movie, it just gives you a weird vibe. I don't know if you got it. Just, like, a really weird sense of just, like, the world, because you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like,
the only thing I could start thinking was, like, I'm not I guess I'm doing a podcast here, but it's like, for my job, I literally go to people's houses and film interviews and stuff like that. It's like,
yep.
I'm never going to one alone.
I know, and it's just like, I don't know. I was like, that was just some weird shit,
it's all part of the buddy-buddy system.
Yeah.
You gotta have somebody, like...
It was just, because it didn't have that, like, sense of, like, your friend's captured, something bad could be happening, you find them, and then you save them, because you didn't get that from him. Mm-hmm. Like, you get the whole movie, like, he doesn't want to be a walrus, but it's, like, right to the point where he kills him, and he's like, I'm a fucking walrus. And then his friends are so tormented, and then you're like, oh, they saved him. It's like, no, you didn't. Like, he's, like, still in this weird fucking prison.
Yeah, his normal life.
Like, his mental... It was like his mental stability just collapsed, and he just... It was one of those weird things, and so you don't get that sense of, like, even though he was turned into the walrus, like, he was saved. Like, you don't get the sense of, they... Like, in the end, he killed the guy, he was saved. It's like, no...
He just survived. It's all
yeah, and now he's...
Again, when your girlfriend comes, former girlfriend, comes and tells you that she loves you, but her way of loving you is throwing you a fish and letting you live in captivity. Like,
oh my gosh, no wonder why he's crying, poor guy.
Yeah, it was a crazy movie.
Wasn't that chick, like, screwing his friend anyway?
Yeah.
Again, I missed.
But she still loves him.
Yeah, but he was he cheated on her too and stuff, and that's like... His friend was like, how could you cheat on someone so beautiful like her? Like, so he didn't always treat her the best. Like, he was an asshole. Yeah. Like, faux show.
Well, yeah, the only... Again, I skip most of the flashback stuff because I more want to just get progression with the movie. Yeah. But there are a lot of flashbacks between Justin Long and her when he... And just stuff of him, like, her saying, like, why do you do the... why are you such a jerk when you're doing your podcast and, that kind of stuff.
And, like, he tells his friend, like, he's like, oh, you're not taking her to Canada with you? And he's like, no, because, like, she'll throw off my vibe, plus I can't get roadhead from Canadians if she's there. And so, he's not a great guy, so... Yeah.
But he doesn't deserve to be an animal.
No. So it was a weird movie. Like I said, I thought the acting in it was kind of crazy. Like, it was good, I feel. But it was just a weird movie. Like I said, the suit and everything. Like it was fucking weird.
Yeah, it looked weird. It looked really creepy.
Oh yeah, very.
Yeah, like I said, and that's why I said you don't
gosh.
have to watch it like just skim through it because you can get a lot of the base idea.
Yeah.
Skimming through it. I watched pretty much almost the whole thing. I only skimmed through like the drawn out parts where it's like just him sitting there as a walrus and it like pans out like I just skipped through the pan out kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So like that's what I heard more like all the dialogue pretty much. So but it's it was a weird movie. Like I said,
I think I watched the whole movie in about 30 minutes by skimming.
Well, it's on YouTube, so you can put that little the speed timer on, speed it up a little bit.
I didn't even do that. No.
Yeah, so it I don't know, just weird vibes, and it was a weird movie. I think
it's a weird concept, man.
Yeah, no, if
Some,
and I really
stuff.
I do recommend just checking it out if you just like.
At least look up a picture.
Yeah, to see what the walrus looks like, because that's what I showed you. It's I don't know. I recommend just skimming through it. It's kind of an interesting movie, and
the makeup artist on that movie must have some fun. With Johnny Depp's dick nose and then doing the walrus.
Well, now I want to go back and find the dick nose.
Yeah, I know. I've been wanting to too because I read that afterwards.
Probably Google it.
Yeah, Johnny Depp dick nose. But
I'm sure that'll come up with some weird stuff.
So anyway, that was.
Let's move on to the next topic.
Next topic.
I've got kind of 4 things written down. Tusk was the first one.
For sure.
And you guys can draw out stuff too. We just all watched the new. I think they debuted a couple days ago, but it was the new
it was just
Tomb Raider trailer. What do you guys think?
Looks interesting. I like that the main actress. I saw her in the most recent Bourne film where she was like the lead FBI agent against him, so she's kind of badass. The trailer looks interesting. I'm not sure what to make of the story. The villain, but
yeah, I know the villain. He's in
Oh, he was
Vice
in
Principal.
Yeah, he was in American Ultra too.
Yeah, he's been in quite a few things. He was in he played a cowboy in something. I don't remember what. Maybe no, I don't think it was Westworld. I forget what it was, but he's in a couple different things. I personally always have liked the Tomb Raider like games and franchise.
Well, and
I think it looks good.
The thing. So I personally never thought that. Granted, I didn't see them when they first came out, so I don't know. It was kind of they were a little bit aged by the time I did see them, but the Angelina Jolie ones, they're pretty awful. Honestly, let's face it.
And Gerard Butler.
What? Is he in those ones?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. In the first two?
I don't know. But when they made the remake of the games, I really liked the first one. The second one's. I mean, it's a sequel game. It's not the greatest.
I liked it.
But the thing that I do like about this one is Square Enix, the people who made the games, are a part of making this one.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's very much.
It's supposed to follow the plot of the game
kind of
bit,
the plot of the first game, sort of.
Like
it's
the movie
a
version?
little different, because her father seems to be a little bit bigger part in the movie than he was in the.
He was a bigger part in the second
game.
Yeah.
And then the kind of bad guy is just completely different. But it seems to be following that idea a lot more.
Like he's away and been missing forever. And...
Yeah, or how she's on an island, what she's doing.
Yeah, well, there was a part where she got disoriented and ended up on an island.
Yeah,
it's a shipwreck.
Yeah, I mean it's shipwreck in that too.
Yeah.
They have an identical shot of her jumping off the ship with her silhouette. That's in the game too. Oh. It's in the opening of the game. And see, I think that I will like her as as Lara Croft, but I'm still so used to the game version that I think is perfect.
Yeah.
For Laura, that I'm having a hard time adjusting to the different look.
Yeah.
They still very much made her look similar in terms of the way she's dressed and everything, but it's just she's just a little bit different, you know?
I'm not having a problem with that at all.
We'll have to see. I like the actress, though. We'll see if she pulls off the look, and then the concept sounds kind of interesting, too.
It's good.
Especially if it is, based on kind of the old game material.
Yeah, and with the game, I think they've added some of the stuff she does in the game in these ones.
Yeah, they have the whole ice pick thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so even concepts
or
of the game.
Not ice pick. Or, I don't even know what you call it.
Climbing things, which are kind of ice picks. And then, so they have that, and I just feel the stuff that Lara Croft does, her kind of free running.
It's not so much
stuff.
the old ones where she's like super acrobatic and like doing a backflip and shooting. It's like that's not this. It's still obviously unrealistic in some ways, but it's more grounded in reality.
It's more of like the
in
free
terms
running
of
style.
Like we even saw it in the trailer. Hardcore. She like tries to jump and like catch onto a branch. She just boom hits it and like falls off because it's like in reality
some of these stunts
you can't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like again, then later she does the thing with the ice pick where it would just dislocate her shoulder and she'd fall anyway. But
so
but she's Laura Croft and she can.
It's cool, and I like kind of when you see the part where she gets her signature guns. They're like, oh, there's a lot of people out there. It's an unsafe world or something. She's like, in that case, I'll take 2, and then she gets like the matching pistols that she's known for. So I thought like that's kind of.
Which is funny because she never has those in the game.
Yeah,
she only ever has one pistol.
That's like.
I think you get them towards the end or in the second.
You never get a second one.
No. Oh.
She wants matching ones.
And if you do, I somehow missed that part.
No, I feel like I definitely had 2 pistols, but it's been so long.
You definitely don't in the first game. I kind of went through the second game and it wasn't that memorable to me. So
because I liked the big addition was the bow and arrow.
I really liked the bone, and that's very clearly going to be a big part of this.
Yes, yeah, because it was like in the whole thing, like she lost her guns and stuff.
We'll have to see. I hope they go with a similar thing in this movie, because in the game, like, it's a big deal when she like kills the first person, because she's never killed anyone. It's like I think the first couple people she just tries to subdue, but it's like there comes to a point where she has to shoot a guy to get away, and it kind of messes her up a little.
Batman.
Then, of course,
can't kill him.
In true game fashion, then, by the end, you're shooting guys with an assault rifle, and it doesn't seem to phase her. But
somebody's going to go along. Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for it. I think it's been long enough. I think we deserve a good film, and I feel like...
Good two-movie film.
And I feel like it's kind of cool because the people that did the game are involved, so I liked the game so much that I hope they bring some of that vibe into the movie.
And I don't know how involved they are. I just saw their logo was one of the ones up there with MGM and stuff.
Which means,
So that'd be interesting. That comes out in March, so
yes,
a couple months, not too far.
Well, we got Black Panther coming up.
That's the one.
3 weeks,
really
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's already 3 weeks.
You want to know a movie I really liked was Jumanji.
Yeah,
I saw it. It was so good.
Was it funny?
Oh, dude, I thought it was just amazing. Because, like, Jack Black the whole time is playing a 16-year-old girl. And they all were joking because, like, all of them are comedians and, like, great funny people. They're saying, like, in the scene where it's supposed to be, like, the 13-year-old girl just amused by Dwayne Johnson's body, everyone was like, Jack Black wasn't acting. He was really just amused by Dwayne Johnson's body. So there's so many funny moments. And, I mean, I know a lot of people say, like, Dwayne Johnson. I am a huge Dwayne Johnson fan. And in this, I feel like his acting is really good. Because he's playing, like, a nerdy high schooler. And so it's like he does a really good job of, like, it's The Rock. But the whole time you're like, 16-year-old nerdy guy.
Nerdy guy behind him.
Yeah, so, and I thought he did, just like Jack Black, he was like 16-year-old cheerleading girl. Like, and so it's just, it's really fun. And I think they throw a lot of kind of little curveballs and funny moments. And, I mean, like, the nerdy girl is, like, in the game, like, the hot girl. And, like, she even makes comments. She's like, I'm in the jungle. Why am I dressed like this? This doesn't make sense. And she's like, I feel so naked. And she's, like, covering her body. Like, so it's just really funny because, like, none of their characters obviously fit who they are, and I think all the actors portray that really, really well. Nice. And so it was a funny movie. I thought, like, it was just really good. It flowed real well. They even have tribute to the old movie. So, like, Robin Williams, there's a couple tributes to him and some stuff. So, it's the bad guy's name is the same, but they've changed, like, the role of the bad guy a little bit in this. So it was
the hunter guy.
Yeah, he's not like a hunter guy anymore. He's a little different. But it's the same name, that they just kind of changed that role. So I thought it was really good. And one of the things I thought was really funny is the main guy, the nerdy guy, in it is actually, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the old Nickelodeon show, the Naked Brothers Band, he's one of the brothers.
I missed that one.
I actually like the music, but him and his brother are musicians.
Nick and Jonas Brothers?
No.
He definitely said Naked
No,
Brothers.
it's the Naked Brothers band. It was a Nickelodeon TV show. They were little kids at the time, but like, so it's Nate and Alex Wolf, and that's Alex Wolf. Nate is the one, he was in Paper Towns.
I saw that one.
He's in was it the Black Note or something like that? He's in something else. I can't think of it. But so they're both actors in a bunch of stuff. So it was just kind of me, since I knew who they were. I was like, oh, like he's all grown up now. But he did really good acting, and they're both actually really good musicians. But
nice.
Anyway, it was a good movie. I do recommend. I mean, Jumanji. It was just like, going in, it's gonna be kind of like a stupid comedy, and it's really good though. It's done really. It's like a stupid comedy, but it still has like a good story. Like.
Oh yeah.
Again, like the nerdy.
So what like elements of the old Jumanji film does it have in it?
So it actually talks. So what it does is, guy gets like the Jumanji game in the very beginning, and it's a board game. He's like, oh, this is the 90s.
Yeah, like
I don't want a board game. And so like he puts it down to play a video game. So like at night it like transforms itself into a video game. He's like, what? And so he like puts it in and plays it, and he gets sucked in. And then like this kid's been gone for like 20 years or something like that. And then they all get detention in various ways, and they get thrown down to do something in detention, and they find a video game they're like, we should play, and then they have to like pick the characters. And then and one of the characters is missing because it was that kid that was sucked in years before. Oh, shoot. And so like the teenage girl, his name is something that sounds kind of girly, and it says like he's the curvy scientist or something like that. And so she's like, ooh, I want him. And then it was like...
Well, but she doesn't know it's a him.
Yeah, she doesn't know it's a him. And then, like, the main guy, Spencer, the nerdy one, like, picks the dude. He was like, oh, he's a scientist or something like that. And so he picks him, not knowing, like, Dwayne Johnson, like, beastly. And then, like, the big football guy, like, picks Kevin Hart's character because it's something that makes it sound like he's, like, the, this big dude, but he's, like, a short guy, like, and stuff like this. So... And then they're all given 3 lives. And so you find out that there was a spot, because you know how Robin Williams was living in the game? So they find where the one guy that got sucked in years before was living in a hut. And they're like, oh, this is your hut? He's like, no, it was, and I forget Robin Williams' character, but his name. And it was like, this was this guy. He was in here previously. So it shows where he was living inside Jumanji.
Oh, and like how the game prepared.
Okay. Yeah, and so it was like his hut in the game. And so, like, they play tribute there, and they have the rhinos and the drum beats that are in it, and so they have a lot of the stuff from the old game. And one of the old game pieces is a clue to something.
Oh, nice.
And then it's kind of, like, different, like, they all have weaknesses. Like, it goes to Dwayne Johnson, and it shows, like, all his stats. Like, he's super strong, super fast, like, all this, and then it was, like, weaknesses, none. Then it goes to Kevin Hart, and it's, like, running and agility, like, are weaknesses, and so is Cake. And, like, Cake's a weakness for him. And then, like, one of the things, like, his, pretty much his only job is to hold Dwayne Johnson's shit. He has that giant backpack. And it's to hold all Dwayne Johnson's stuff. And then, like, the hot girl, her stuff is, like, all this karate stuff, and it's dance fighting. And then it was,
Capoeira.
Yeah.
That's right. I was going to say there's, like, a name.
Yeah. And then, it goes to Jack Black, and it's, like... His one skill... Oh, Kevin Hart's a zoologist, so that's, like, his main thing. He's a zoologist, so he knows about stuff. And then Jack Black, it's like he is a cryptographer. He knows maps. But then his weakness is, like, stamina, running, and all this other stuff.
Athletic shit.
So, like, at the one part, like, like, a missile comes by him, and they're like, oh, shit. And then so you see the guys running, and then you see Dwayne Johnson just fly by him, just, like, sprinting. And then the Kevin Hart's character's like, what? That's bullshit, like, and so he's getting all, like, he's getting tired and hurt, like, and winded, and then so at one point, like, Dwayne Johnson has to put him on his back and start running with him, and so it's just super funny, like, how they do little stuff like that. And then, like, at one point, they get in a fight, because in real life, Kevin Hart's character is supposed to be this big football player.
Yeah.
And he's like, what, Spencer, you gonna do something? He's like, just because you're in this big, giant body, you think you got me? And he's like, don't touch me. And so, like, he goes to push Dwayne Johnson, and he just, like, stops, and he's like, what? And Dwayne Johnson backhands him, and he goes flying into, like, the mountain. Like, it's pretty funny. So they just do, like, stupid shit like that. And,
that's funny.
And then it's, in the very beginning, you see Spencer, the main kid, like, playing, like, a Mortal Kombat game, and he's, like, calling out the moves. So when Dwayne Johnson fights, he calls out the moves. He's like, throw against the wall, uppercut. And then he's, like, slam down. Like, so he's, like, calling out the moves that he's doing. So it's kind of funny, like, adds that little bit of video game aspect in there. So it was pretty cool. I just thought it was a really well done movie. It's scripted really well and acted really well. And like I said, it's a stupid comedy, but it has
Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart.
There's just and Jack Black. Like there's just a lot of.
Because to speak about Dwayne Johnson, I have to agree that I think he is a good actor, but he does take a lot of roles in a lot of movies where they don't really allow him to act. He just kind of plays the meathead. Dude. We're just gonna rely on your muscles. So one of those being, this is not one of the ones I put down here, but I just saw the new thing for Rampage.
Oh, I saw a trailer for that today.
The only thing that looks funny about it is he's like got one of the guys in a chokehold, and he's like, no, like, and the guy's like trying to hit it, and he's like, no, don't bother, that's a big arm, you can't do it. It's something like that. He's like, just let it happen, or something like that.
Stuff,
but honestly, that looks like a terrible movie.
Rampage,
and people say Dwayne Johnson can't act, and I think you had it right. I think he can act. I think he's just put in a lot of roles like that.
Well, he takes a lot of roles, but I mean, the man is making so much.
Oh no, I love Dwayne Johnson. I'll see just about any movie he's in. But that was like,
what was that remake? The beach one.
Oh, Baywatch was so funny.
That's another like
it was so funny.
That one is pretty funny.
Well, even in Jumanji, like when Spencer gets in the body, he's like, oh, what are these? And he's like, what's that? And then like people like grab his chest and stuff constantly because it's just like the one girl who Jack Black's character is just amused by him like the whole time, and so it's just really funny because it's like kind of that aspect, but it's like the nerdy dude not knowing like what that big body feels like.
Oh
so
yeah, he's like
it's just. But then it's really funny because like the nerdy guy gets scared. Like at one part he's in a tree and a squirrel pops up and he freaks out and like drops down. And they're like, what happened? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. But so it's like Dwayne Johnson playing like a scared, like wimpy little dude. So it's really funny. It's not like, you know, the kid is in Dwayne Johnson's body and is out of nowhere just like Dwayne Johnson. Like, so it's pretty good.
Pretty good stuff.
But, and then, I mean, he's coming out in Skyscraper too, which is supposed to be pretty intense. That's like, I don't know if you've heard about it. It's like a hostage movie or something like that. And he's... So it's supposed to be a more intense movie.
There's so many movies coming out these days. Yeah. I just don't...
Yeah.
Well, I follow him on Instagram, so I always see what he's working on. And so that one's like not a comedy at all. Like it's more of a serious
I wouldn't expect a hostage movie to be a comedy.
So it's supposed to be... I mean, that one looks pretty good. But anyway, I recommend Jumanji. I thought it was really good. It was definitely worth going and seeing.
Awesome. I'll check that one out.
It's good. It's a good date movie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Date night.
Okay, I'll go by myself. All right. The next topic that I have, see what I did there? Next topic.
No, I like it.
Is I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Super Troopers 2 trailer came out.
I didn't see it.
Honestly, I was underwhelmed by it.
Really?
The whole premise is that they're like, apparently it's like after all these years we learned that, you know, this chunk of Canada actually belongs to the U.S. and so like they're being merged to eventually take over a Canadian Mountie unit. And so it's them, you know, doing a bunch of Canadian jokes on it. I mean, the first one is, again, it's a stupid movie, but it's got its quotable.
I love Super Troopers 1.
But honestly, it just seemed like it was gonna. It's one of those where it looks like it's gonna be exactly the same thing, but not to the same level. Basically, like they have a scene where they've pulled over somebody, and instead of doing the whole meows this time, it's they're both dressed up as Mounties, and they're just trying to throw out as many like random like French Canadian sounding words. And they're just like, oh, baguette, and they're like, but like,
Canadian.
I don't. It just was like it's not to the same level as meow. It just doesn't work. So that's to me. My impression based off the trailer. You guys want maybe next week we'll come back.
And say I didn't know there was a trailer.
Is like it seems like they're just gonna try the same things, but it's gonna fall short. That's what my impression is.
I will say right now, my favorite line from Super Troopers 1 was, if you say shenanigans, or the next person that says shenanigans, I'm pistol whipping. And he was like, hey Farva, what's that place you'd like to eat at? He's like, you mean shenanigans? And then he pulls out his gun and he hands it to him. He's like,
there was one part in the trailer where Farva is in he goes to a porta potty and there's like a bear attacking and the others are all watching. They're like should we shoot it or something? And the chief goes like, who, the bear or Farva?
That's so funny.
Oh man.
But no, I don't know. I love
It'll be funny in parts, I imagine, but if you're trying to repeat the same
I mean, it's gonna be like
Troopers
Anchorman, where the first one was I
iconically
liked the first
epic.
Everyone loves
Anchorman,
the first
and then
one.
the second one just fell flat.
That's how I felt about The Hangover. Like, the
Yeah,
first one's like
except they
really
made 3
great.
of those fuckers.
Second one sucks. Third one's even worse. You know?
Yeah, the first one was great. So I don't know. I'll see it just because I like Super Troopers 1 so much.
Super Troopers 2 is unless something has changed within the last couple of years, it was crowdfunded, and it is the most successful crowdfunded movie ever.
Really?
Like, it raised the most money.
Oh, wow.
It passed Rooster Teeth's Laser Team was the one that hit the mark, which was like, I'm going to be wrong on the numbers, but it was something like they had 2.2 million or something raised, and this one got to like 2.7 or something.
Because everyone's wanted Super Troopers 2 for so long.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. A lot of people wouldn't talk about it. I knew they were finally going to do it.
I didn't. So did they get, like, as far as you know, like, the full cast back for the
A lot of
most
the
part?
main cast.
It
from
seemed
what I
like
understood,
all the main characters were there.
Yeah.
Was Ursula back?
I don't remember.
The
who that
girl?
was. I didn't see any girls.
So it was just that was... Oh,
It was just like the main male troopers.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's
and
funny.
the chief's the same. I don't remember any of the names really.
Mm-hmm.
It's been I need to rewatch the first one.
It's been...
But like
I'll watch it
they're
with
all
you.
the same.
I love Super Troopers.
There you go. Super Troopers 2. Do you know when it's coming out?
420.
That's actually right when Rampage is coming out, so
That's fun.
that'll be great for all the stoners out there.
There you go. I get to see a giant gorilla and people.
Everyone's
being
seen that.
Giant gorilla and a meat
I thought I was
lizard
watching Super Troopers 2. Why is there a gorilla?
This is like King Kong.
I need to stop eating those brownies. But no, that's funny. I need to watch that trailer. I was.
They have a trailer for Ocean's 8, which is the female
they?
one.
I haven't seen
that yet, but I want.
Oh, the female one.
Yeah.
So is it in the same like universe?
Yeah. So I know we kind of briefly really talked
Isn't
about
he like or she's the daughter?
She's
of
actually
Daniel?
his cousin.
Cousin.
Is how I've understood it to be accredited. We looked it up on IMDb and checked it out, but yeah, she's they're actually I think there's uncredited cameos with like Matt Damon's character, and then maybe even George Clooney. But I'm not.
It has
too
been a
sure
while
if
since
he's
we
in
got
that.
like a real heist movie.
Yeah,
Like I'm sure there's some that I missed or something, but
I still think my overall
Can't
favorite is
think
the
of the last
Italian
one.
Job.
that one's good.
that is a good one.
But I feel like it's starting to age.
I like the town.
It's the
The
town
Town
is.
is
I
really
forgot
good.
about the town. That one's probably my favorite.
No, there's a
I
lot
haven't
of
seen
good
that one.
ones.
There's some.
Or even what's this one? Denzel with Clive Owen. Inside Job. I don't know. Yeah.
Training Day.
No, that is a good one.
So the next thing I want to just touch on real briefly because I don't want to talk too much about it. But
I already know what he's about.
Philadelphia Vikings, baby.
I hate football.
I mean, they're playing right now.
They are playing right now. I don't hate
I was
football.
very
'cause of
off
that.
on the Rams, clearly.
Yeah, no, that day they lost.
No, the day
Yeah.
that we filmed it.
Yeah, they did.
I made fun of myself in the post.
No, I was with you though. I thought the Rams, but
I have to wonder if sitting their starters during that last week
or
affected
even just
them.
Just want to point out, you guys are witness to all the shit I've gotten from going Philly Vikings from these two, and they're the top two.
That's true.
I was disappointed that the Jags lost earlier today.
Oh, dude.
That's why I said I hate football because Tom Brady's going to another Super Bowl.
See, the thing is Bortles.
The thing is,
Ugh,
I guess
I hate
the
Bortles.
thing for me is everybody hates on the Patriots to the point
That's
where
true.
it's almost ridiculous.
How successful they are.
There's people,
in the last minute
there was
again.
people going in there and being like, "Oh, the refs gave it to them again." It's like, no, you guys couldn't stop Brady for the last 30
True.
minutes.
Dude, can we talk about that hit on Grunk though? Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
I don't
that was
think I've
pretty brutal.
ever Grunk looked sincerely it didn't even.
They
look
said
like
he went
Gronk.
over to the sideline, was just going, "What? What?"
No, he didn't
No.
even look like he knew what was going on. Like his player was talking to him, and he's like,
All right, do you guys think that was a dirty play though? Because I know a lot of
No.
Patriots fans were like, "Oh man, look at that cheap shot."
I
by
don't think.
Gronk."
I think he was
Well,
just the guy. He was just going. I think he was
Richard
just
Sherman tweeted out a thing.
Oh, I saw
and,
it. Yeah,
and he was
go
like, the only other thing you can do is basically hit him low, and then you're
And
going for the
wreck
knees, and
his knee.
everybody calls it a dirty hit that way.
cheap-
It's like
yeah.
'Cause he was already
the only
in
other
those-
option is not tackle him at that
Yeah,
point.
let him make
so,
the
like,
catch. And it's
Yeah,
like, wow.
and like you
How
could
would you-
tell it was just because he was going at Gronk and Gronk was in the air.
Gronk's also way taller than him.
Yeah,
too.
and so when Gronk came, I think Gronk came down a little
it's such
faster.
a bang play.
And then
by the
Gronk
time
kind of
they
went
meet.
down a little
It's
bit, and
helmet.
it was
Helmet to
just
helmet.
it was one of those
Yeah.
hits. I don't think like, obviously it's a foul, but I don't, and that's why they didn't call it. I mean,
no, they did call it foul.
No, I mean they didn't like take him out of the game or anything. Like, you
Oh,
call it
like
foul,
that.
but it's not like it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
I will say Gronk's hit, earlier in the season.
Oh,
was way
that
worse
was a
than
dirty play, but that play was like
already.
over, and he was on the ground.
Yeah.
Like,
so this is just payback.
I think
This is karma running its course.
By the time we got to these final four, I was actually pulling for the Jags because
I was rooting for the Jags,
especially if they beat the Patriots. I don't think there was any way they lose to either team that's playing now because offensively,
you think the Jags would beat either of these
offensively.
Vikings
the Patriots are the
the
best offense.
Yeah,
of all the teams there.
Absolutely.
And so yes,
but every other team's defense
Bortles
is better,
might
though.
struggle against them, but if you can shut down the offense, it doesn't matter.
And the Jags had the number one passing defense.
I think here's the thing. I think the Vikings defense is not quite Jags. It's not Saxonville, but I think they're good enough to stop them, like not let them just completely go. But I think the Vikings have a power offense where I think they can score more. I think too. So I think it'll become more of a scoring, and I think they can actually put up the numbers.
Imagine if the Vikings do go though against the Patriots, because the
Super
Bowl is actually played in Minnesota.
That's what I'm saying, and it's the first time it's ever.
I feel like
yeah.
Well, it's not the first time it's happened. The team that's been there has never won. Oh no, you're right. They've never made it. They've had people who have been able to, but then didn't make it.
Yeah, this is the first time any team would ever have home field
if
advantage
they win
in a Super
today.
Bowl.
But
yes, they're gonna win.
Okay.
Well, see,
I'm gonna be really
not
sad.
to say that I obviously I don't want the Eagles to win a Super Bowl at some point, but I don't think either of those reason why I don't want them to win at this point is I think that Wentz should be the starter if they're gonna win a Super Bowl.
It's such a bummer.
He's gonna get the ring even if they win now, but it's kind of like
the job.
I mean, he got him there.
No, he got him to the point, and then it's like, yeah, you're back, but that's got like a bittersweet taste in everyone's mouth.
For him especially.
Other than Foles, I mean, even probably Foles has a little bit. It's like, I got it there, but I'm only here
you're losing
because
your job again at the beginning.
And Foles has barely been doing it when Wentz was like blowing it away.
Well, yeah, he was an MVP candidate earlier. So and then that play last week, because I was such a Saints homer this year.
Well, and that's the hard thing, because I don't think you can actually call Vikings talent on that. I mean, Diggs is a great receiver.
Hell of a catch, though.
It was a hell of a catch.
See, my biggest.
If he had caught it,
I know what you're about to say, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
The thing with that annoys me the most about that play is that everyone's going.
Tackle?
No, well, but people are saying like, "Oh, Keenum and Diggs do it." It's like, no, Keenum threw a terrible pass that Diggs got lucky to catch. He jumps up in the air and should have ended the game.
Yeah.
Like Keenum did nothing on that play, but just get it to his receiver.
A shot.
That should have been tackled in play. It's Diggs and a missed tackle that then make it the game.
Right. And I think even if
Diggs caught that, but if he gets tackled, he has to
if he gets tackled, the game's over. There's no way they're getting back to another play.
But if he had gotten out of bounds, then
which I don't see any way he could
field goal.
He was
tied,
close. He was close, but they would have hit him in a way where he wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but he took the complete wrong angle.
Here's the thing about that play is that dude not only he was like, oh, I don't want to get the foul for hitting late. He took out the only other person on his team that could have stopped.
Well, it's because he was crossing the path of him while Diggs was jumping.
So he ran into the one guy that still could have stopped. And I get it, but it's at that point you're better off taking the foul, giving them one more shot to throw because you can at least defend.
Maybe.
Or you give them the, okay, it's there, the foul, they kick a field goal, we tie, whatever.
He was playing the position where he thought the receiver would be.
It just goes to the whole thing if you never try to make a tackle when you're looking away from the person.
Yeah. I'm just saying anything he would have done would have been better than what he did do.
Yeah. And I really don't, again, hindsight's 20/20. I don't think he would have had a foul on the tackle anyway.
No, he was hitting him too early.
Well, no, by the time he was hitting him, Diggs was way up in the air. If anything, he would have got under him and then tackled him, and the game's over.
He never touched them anyway, basically.
No, I know, but he took the complete wrong angle.
To his thing, there's no.
I don't think
there was no.
There wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't. I didn't see
because I think that's what they're saying. The worry was. I think he was hitting him too early.
No, I think he misplaced his tackle because Diggs had to jump up and over to catch that ball, and he was going right to where Diggs jumped from.
Yeah, should have been. Yeah,
so he wasn't even playing the receiver in the ball; he was playing the initial position. But
which again
he
is
thought
one
it
of
might
those,
have been
yeah,
like a
that
spot
makes
catch
sense.
maybe, so then he could run. Instead, he jumped out. He totally missed frame and just
Yeah, he does kind of jump.
Which cleared the pass because the way he like led that tackle, that went across the other defender.
For sure.
So then Diggs literally just
for sure.
What did they call it? The miracle?
The Minnesota Miracle.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, it was
It
intense.
was a hell of a play.
Here's the thing though.
But I mean,
so the way Keenum played, do you give Bradford a shot at all? If you need that long ball. If you need that long
you
ball.
cut Bradford and then you put Bridgewater and Keenum.
I think
and
you keep both.
You let them play for the starting
I'm saying
position.
like if it goes or in the game we're not watching right now or in the Super Bowl because the
Why
coach
would
said
you
right
replace
no
Keenum
the coach
right now,
said
bro?
right now Bradford's backup. Even in last week's game they said if we start getting behind at all I'm putting
fine.
Bradford in.
No, I don't think he said that.
He said that. He said if we get behind
But
by
look
a
how
certain
they
amount of points,
started,
we're putting
dude.
Bradford in.
The Saints
So
were on their heels
Bradford's
the
there.
whole game until
Well-
the end when they're up with that 1 point and then that.
Well, no,
miracle.
and that's why Bradford never went in because they had a huge lead. But
I just
he's
don't
saying
think
if
they
they
would've
need
put
to
him
make
in,
up
though.
yardage, he's putting Bradford in because Bradford has the arm to get him over.
I wouldn't trust Bradford.
No, I wouldn't either. He hasn't had any game action since literally game 1 of the season.
Yeah.
You have such a good thing going with Keenum. Plus, he just got you to the Super Bowl, or almost to the Super Bowl with that miracle. You know, like why would you take him out?
Have you heard the whole thing about how the Super Bowl is rigged? So apparently, the I don't know who did. I think it was like ESPN.
Yeah.
It put out something where it was like Super Bowl 52, and it had a picture of Keenum and Brady, and then they like took it down, and then if you Google like Super Bowl appearances for the Vikings, 52 appears or something like that. And it's like, so the conspiracy theorists, and along with the missed the tackle that should have been easy to make being missed, the conspiracy theorists are like, it's rigged to be a Vikings Patriots Super Bowl, and the refs are making sure that the Patriots get to the Super Bowl, all this kind of bullshit. Well, did you see that?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying at the end of that first drive for the Pats this game against the Jags. Because they like gave up like 50-plus yards in penalties, the Jaguars. I mean, I thought they were penalties. And then there was that pass interference.
Penalties.
I
can see the pass interference going either way.
Yeah, but I didn't see the receiver really make a play for the ball, really. He was kind of just running with him, and they were like almost
he kind of just, it was like he boxed him out the whole time.
Yeah, but he didn't even make a play on the ball.
But again, there's always ones that don't get called, too. There's one that, for sure, I don't remember who it was, but Jalen Ramsey's holding the receiver's arm while they're like going for it, and it doesn't get called. Like, so you can't, they're NFL refs. I think if they were really going one way or the other, they wouldn't stay around very long.
Yeah, for sure.
I just feel like, I mean, I know that reffing's a big part, but I really don't think in the end you can, by reffing, get two teams to the Super Bowl. Because there's talent and other stuff, I just don't feel like you could.
If you call enough penalties, you could.
Spot fouls.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case here, but but you could. I think you maybe could.
Oh, you definitely could, because you could be blatantly wrong, but you can't challenge a penalty.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if you say, offsides, there was, pass interference, like, what are you going to be able to do? Like, you would eventually, granted, yes, eventually someone would have to actually make the plays.
Yeah.
But in the end, Bortles just couldn't get it done. And they stopped Fournette enough.
Yeah.
He still had like 100 rushing yards.
Fournette did his job.
Well, and Bortles did so good.
Or no, he only had like 70. Yeah. But Yeldon had another.
Bortles did so good the first half, and then it was
decent.
It's just, I mean, because at one point he had thrown for like 12 throws straight that were caught, and he had only missed 2.
Yeah.
And then it was like he just went way downhill, and he just stopped. Like, again, there were many key plays.
They only had like
just
3
choked.
points in the second half.
Yeah. Well, I think they had 6, but they were all. Yeah, there were 2 kicks. Yeah. Bortles didn't have any points the second half.
Yeah, they had.
No touch.
No, they went to half at 14 to. No, didn't they do 17 to 3? 10?
It was 17.
No, it was 14-10 at half, right?
No, it was 17-10 at half.
Oh, they did get a field goal before half?
Yeah, it was 17-10 at half.
And then it was 20-10 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, but
Brady coming up.
Let's probably not go too much more into that for now.
I just
Next topic.
Boom. Next one.
I've only got one more thing, and I don't know if have either of you guys watched any of the... technically, it's the end of the F asterisk asterisk asterisk
Oh,
KING,
no,
the end of the fucking
I've heard
world.
about this and seen it, or seen a thing.
Oh, the
Netflix
show?
original.
I've watched some of it, yeah.
I've watched the first 4 episodes last night.
What do you guys think of it?
It's really interesting.
It's
really good. I don't know. It intrigued me and it has me hooked, for sure.
It definitely, like, it's, part of it is it's easy to watch 8 30-minute episodes. That's it.
For sure.
I will say, like, to me, the first 2 episodes, like, didn't necessarily hook me the same way a lot of shows do, but at the same time, like, it's hooked me enough to where I want to
keep seeing
finish it and see where it goes, because there's, like, this interesting premise to it. And it's a very well done show.
No,
for sure.
it's a well done, and I just, I feel like they do a really good job of putting you in the character's shoes. And it does. It's so weird.
Well, it switches between the 2 narrators.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because each character narrates different parts. And sometimes it'll be, like, literally you'll see the same thing, and it'll almost, like, it'll go her perspective, being like, I hope he's not thinking about doing this. And then it cuts to him, he's like, I'm thinking about doing this or whatever, you know?
And well, because the whole premise is, like, he's just fucking a sociopath.
He thinks he's a sociopath, and he wants to kill somebody.
And he's like, she would be a good, like, prospect. And then, like, starts hanging out, and then, like, she just, like, wants his attention because he's just weird like her. And then, like, he keeps thinking, like, I could kill her now. And then, like, you can kind of see he's growing more feelings for her. And then, like, she'll lash out because he pisses her off and does something. And he's like, what the fuck?
Because she's a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah. And so it's very interesting. Like, yeah, just getting inside his head. And then, like, he's like, I don't like her because she's making me feel things. Like, and just all this weird stuff. And it's so funny. He's like, his dad's like the nicest person ever, and he's just like,
hate him.
Yeah, and he's like, I just want to punch my dad. Like, and then so when they steal the car, he just walks up and punches his dad, and his dad's like, what? Like, because his dad is so nice. Yeah. Like, he's really not that bad.
So that's why
guy.
he thinks he's a sociopath?
Yeah, just he said he's never had feelings, and he's like, I want to kill someone. Like, and he's killed animals and other stuff. Like, I mean, it's a British comedy. Like, it's dark, and they put a comedic aspect to it. I mean, it's typical British dark comedy.
Dry humor.
And I liked it. I like I said, it got me hooked. And then, like, even there's one part where, like, something happens, and he's like, I'm a virgin, and she's like, no shit. Like, so it's like that kind of dialogue, like, just very straightforward. It's so funny. So
Netflix coming in clutch again.
I know, dude. It's a good show, because that was one of those shows I was wanting something to watch because I'd finished everything, and I kind of saw it, and, like, I kind of watched the preview, and I was like, I don't know. So I started looking stuff, and I'd like, go back to it, and I was like, maybe. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to try it.
Speaking of Netflix originals, have you guys watched Bright?
Yes.
No, and I haven't just because of all the stuff I heard about it.
What'd you hear about it?
Oh, that was one of the worst reviewed movies of the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then, like, they were saying they've already greenlit a sequel to the second one, and they were saying this is the
so
world
this
we
is
deserve.
my thought with it. I think the premise behind
I've heard the premise is
world
awesome. I think
it's awesome.
I like the idea of a
execution was
fantasy
horrible.
world that is modern day.
Yeah,
and, you know,
oh,
you go
me
with that.
too.
But my biggest problem with it is that the storytelling basically forces exposition down your throat. It's like, hey bud, remember when so and so the only orc cop we've ever had got you shot, and it's like, why on earth would anyone be talking like this?
Yeah, that's basically what I had kind of understood from. Like, the concept is really cool.
No,
the execution and how they do it is, like, very forced, and
the action scenes and stuff.
Rather than kind of
feel
let
normal
you
for the time.
Figure some stuff out on your own, it's
it
very
all out
much
for you.
Right? Oh, that one's an elf. They're the highest class we have.
Yeah, like, it's so on the nose. Like, it's like, okay, well, give the audience something to think about.
Well, and I feel like they kind of give backstory to stuff, but it's not as like the whole
almost
thing with,
too much though.
You know what I mean? Well, and it's kind of like the whole thing with the orcs and like the orcs, because they were people that accepted
they used
dark
to
magic.
worship the Dark Lord before he was defeated 2,000 years ago, and because of that, they're still looked down on.
Kind of thing. So it's like the backstory is kind of weird, and I feel like Will Smith is ragging on his partner too much, or hating his partner a little too much.
It's worth watching though.
It's a great premise.
If you've got 90 minutes to watch something, it's all right. Don't go expecting anything super special from it.
I mean, I liked it.
You guys would you guys be excited for the sequel? Maybe they could do
if they did something
better execution.
If it seems like they executed.
Yeah, because I mean, I love, like you said, I love the idea of like.
I think there's a lot of potential to the idea that they have.
For sure.
They just did not execute very well on the current.
And they have two great. I mean, Will Smith and then
Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, so it's like both of them are great actors. So I think there is potential. Maybe you just call this first one a setup movie for an even better movie. So,
yeah, potentially. Hopefully.
It was good, like I said. The premise
got the main guys signed on, and
and some of that stuff too. It's very obvious from the beginning. Of course, with any of these things, you do have to explain some of the rules of the universe.
No, absolutely.
But it's very clear, like,
but there's
based off some of the things that they say, like, oh, remember, only a bright can do anything with a magic wand. It's like, I wonder what character's gonna be a bright in the end.
Yeah, because which one has the wand? Like, no, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. It's a little too descript. Like, you want to give them you want to give them the setting.
And I think a lot of movies these days do suffer from the same things where
people are getting dumber.
Because
you don't want to dumb it down.
People are just
too much for your audience. But
you see, people are idiots, but also it also seems like just the movie industry is getting lazy on their story writing. So
no, I agree with the story writing. I think that's the foundation of any good plot. But speaking of idiots, have you guys heard about our Tide Pod challenge? I was joking with Dylan the other day. I think I put both you guys in the message. I was like, guys, we should do a challenge. Let's do the Tide Pod challenge. Do you know about it?
I know about it.
Oh my gosh. It's like natural selection at the finest level. Like, let's weed out all the idiots. Here's some poison.
Hey guys, how about the cyanide challenge next?
There's a bunch of funny memes and stuff online if you've been following it. So basically, teenagers are eating Tide Pods because why not? They're so delicious.
Well, but, it started with a report. Right? No, it started with a report that more humans had been sorry, not humans. Duh, of course they're humans. More adults had been more adults had been hospitalized for eating Tide Pods than like children.
Oh my gosh.
In the last year or something.
Yeah, because that is an accident with kids.
And that was like right at the beginning of the year. And so then people kind of started playing up this, like, you know, who would win? One grown adult or one, I don't even remember, washi boy or whatever they want to call it. And it came to this idea of like, oh, but I want to eat it. And they've played up this idea that it's candy, and now it's to the point where like.
Well, it does look kind of candy-like, those pods, with the colors and stuff. Well, I mean,
I've never once looked at one and been like, I want to put that in my mouth.
No, I never have.
I've looked at it like I want to squish it, but not like I want to eat it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
We're talking about Tide Pods still, right?
Yeah.
Both of us just said stuff that could go very different. Take that out of context.
But yeah, no, it's just, just a PSA, everybody listening. Please don't eat laundry detergent. It's not good for you.
Really? Soap in general?
There's so many memes about it. It was like the one we were tagged in. It was like, when eating soap used to be a form of punishment, and now the kids are like, woo, let's eat Tide Pod.
Well, it was one of those things, like, I went to your wife, and I was like, Tina, so, health-wise, how good is it? She's like, no.
It's like a blatant thing, though.
Yeah.
It's like, one of my buddies, he was posting stuff, like all these other memes. They had, like, the Ajax challenge, and they had it in, like, little white lines. It was so silly.
No, I know. I joked, it's like, why don't we just start sniffing Comet next? It's only, like, 90% bleach.
Yeah, why not? Aromatherapy. We'll just,
there we go.
We'll cook that up in the room, and... No, but, let's just be smarter, people. Yeah. Kind of silly stuff. All these crazy dares that kids are doing.
Dude, it's just... I mean, a dare is one thing of doing something stupid like jumping off a roof or something, but eating poison...
Well, they're just trying to clean their insides, bro.
Yeah. Sure.
That's how that works. I think... Dude, do you imagine, like, that would have to... Because, like, that soap is, like, made to, like, kill and get rid of... Like,
it's just straight chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, so what that would do to your stomach?
Probably not good.
Burn holes.
Well, because even the Tide Pod challenge is not to eat it. It's just that they, like, break it in their mouth and, like, hold it in their mouth or something like that. But even that's hospitalizing people, so...
Yeah, for sure.
It's so bad. I mean, it still gets it. Yeah, it's...
Crazy. Can't taste great either.
No, I can't...
No.
I mean, maybe we're just old. And
we're old-fashioned.
We're old curmudgeons.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's disgusting.
Did you guys see what Tom Hardy posted on Instagram the other day?
Mm-mm.
So,
did it have to do with Venom?
Yes, it did have to do with them. And he immediately took it down. So it's unconfirmed still, but he posted a picture of himself as Eddie Brock, and in the background of the whole thing was Carnage. So Carnage might be the villain, and then
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
And then Woody Harrelson's also in the movie. But
Really?
he has an unnamed role. So
Is it
now
Carnage?
even more people are speculating that it could be Carnage. And that, in my opinion, that'd be pretty cool to see. Like, to have Carnage as the villain, but then to have Woody Harrelson play Carnage, like, that would be kind of intense.
That'd be pretty dope.
But we'll see. That movie's due out in October, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's also another unconfirmed. Sony's keeping it really under wraps, but he posted it the other day and then immediately took it down. So it led a bunch of people to speculate whether he was actually kind of confirming the villain. But then also that Peter Parker might appear in it too. Also unconfirmed. So we'll see.
Which version of Peter?
It's in the current one. Tom Holland's Peter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little fuzzy. What's the difference between Carnage and Venom again?
They're just the breaks off. So basically, a symbiote
red.
plays off your most. What?
It's
Carnage is red, bro.
Yeah.
No,
it's like
just
Red Hulk and Green Hulk,
I
basically.
guess so, yeah. It's just another version of a person kind of carrying
and who's
this.
the person?
Basically, I
Cletus
think
Cassidy.
they did it
He's a serial
because people liked Venom and they turned him into like a hero. So they had to have another.
He's kind of like an
villain
anti-hero,
version,
yeah.
Wait, Carnage was a serial killer originally?
Yeah, like from the comics, the character's name is Cletus Cassidy, and he's a serial killer. But basically, the idea is that symbiote, which allows Eddie Brock to be Venom, allows that character to be Carnage. But the symbiote plays off your strongest personalities and your traits. And this guy's super evil. He's a serial killer. So Carnage is like
because then isn't it because
incarnation?
How come Brock went evil so fast then?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Man.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. To see.
Really, the only knowledge I have of Venom is because of Spider-Man 3, which is not good.
It is not a good indicator.
Because I never read any of the Venom comics or anything.
Venom's a great villain.
Yeah, they just need to do it. That's why I'm so excited for Tom Hardy as Venom.
Yeah, I think I think he'd be a good Carnage too.
Well,
I mean Venom. I mean Venom. Not Carnage. Venom.
No, it'd be cool to see both of them on screen. Hopefully done better than infamous.
So, because that's is that Fox technically?
Sony. Yeah.
So
all Foxes.
Yeah, so that's what's funny. So Sony is now working with Marvel though. Marvel doesn't own them.
Well, that's kind of how they negotiated that, so Spider-Man can be in the Marvel universe again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So then now that's how.
But Sony is heading the Venom because it's a Spider-Man spin-off essentially.
Yeah. But if we do see Peter Parker, then that would mean Marvel has a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, for sure. But that part's unconfirmed. But it's essentially set.
And if it were to then work
universe.
into the MCU, then obviously you have
that'd be kind of dope.
Looking over or overseeing.
Yeah. That'd be really dope, especially at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. How he's pretty much like, no, I'm fine staying.
I did tell you guys I saw that, right?
Yeah.
I did, and I actually liked it more than I thought I would. Yeah, I was
if
impressed with the villain.
Only you would listen to a certain someone.
I've been so oversaturated with Spider-Man. I need some Venom, bro.
No, I agreed with you. Part of the reason I wasn't rushing to the theater is because we've had 5, now 6 with Homecoming Spider-Mans in my lifetime.
What is,
played by 3 separate guys and 3 separate.
What is Venom gonna be rated?
So the rumor is that it's gonna be Sony's like an R-rated horror type.
That's
horror drama like action type. So we'll see. Horror.
That's dope.
But I will be rushing to see that, and also Black Panther.
We're
super excited for
I
Black
assume
Panther.
you're still planning on going.
Yeah.
Seeing Black Panther.
I need to know when we're
we should. We should do it. We should do it.
I think Anthony
February
was
16th.
Get them to make sure we're all together. But we're also, I think, doing Regal, which doesn't have reserved seating, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, Regal still doesn't have reserved seating.
No. At least not in most of theirs. They might have some, but not the main.
So, and also Deadpool. When is the new Deadpool?
That's not till May. It actually got bumped up.
Speaking of May, isn't that when Han Solo Solo is supposed to come out?
This May, 2018?
Yeah.
I want to say it's in May instead
May's
of
actually
December.
a big... Yeah, that's right. May's a big month. You have Infinity War, Deadpool, and the Solo movie.
So, did you
which
guys...
we should hopefully get a trailer for soon.
Did you see Ryan Reynolds...
Apparently, it's likely coming this week, according to Screen Rant 8 weeks or 8 hours ago.
All right. I hope so.
And Comic Book Movie.
Ron Howard did say we were getting one soon. But
did you see Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, what he did for Betty White's birthday?
No.
He posted a picture of Deadpool, and he was like, "Happy birthday to Betty White," and teenies and weenies, and he had a martini and a hot dog, like, in his hands, and it was like a picture of her and Golden Girls.
Yes.
But it's like, because it's funny, because his swords are named after one of the Golden Girls. I can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't
That's
remember. Because he always talks about one of them. It's like I don't know the Golden Girls that well.
Yeah.
But so he was just paying homage.
Betty
so
White.
it was just kind
I
of
love
funny.
Betty White.
But I just love how, like, the marketing that they do for the Deadpool, because Ryan Reynolds does it, like, all on his Facebook stuff, like,
Well, he's
and
definitely,
it's all these weird little things.
It's very humorous.
Yeah, and so I'm excited, but it is kind of funny.
I'm excited to get a trailer for that one too.
I'm excited for that, but Broylan's is playing.
Brolin's the villain.
Yeah,
What the
he's
hell?
also Thanos.
These two freaking Marvel villains in the same damn month.
Yeah.
Oh, I quit.
Yeah.
I'm out. This is too much.
So, but I think he'll be a great Cable personally, because he has that real kind of.
Will he be a better Cable or a better Thanos?
Hopefully, great on both.
Yeah, but hopefully, yeah. I really hope Thanos is a good villain. That's my major concern.
We get Thanos in a few months.
Yeah, we'll find out soon.
Really, it's already that close.
Yeah,
May.
May, dude.
Wow.
May. We'll get all that, and dude, May's movie month for sure.
Dude, we need to do a movie.
Solo, Deadpool.
This is another thing. As we're kind of wrapping up, I don't remember the exact day that we filmed the very first episode, but I was looking.
We're coming up on.
We posted our first episode on January 26th last year.
Oh man, we're coming up.
So we're basically at our, 1 year anniversary of Next Topic, and yet we're only on. I think this is episode 35.
That's okay. That's okay.
No,
Shows
That's
the
awesome,
consistency
though.
we've had.
Well,
No,
a
it's
year
good.
though. We got a year in the books.
it's good.
We should do we should talk about favorite movies from last year, and then also like coming up. Oh, I guess we just did. So
Kind of.
yeah.
We got stuff. We got some stuff coming.
Yeah, we do have some stuff coming. So
We got.
I think we've been saying that for a year.
Yeah, and we
got
have stuff coming.
Remember when we promised that we'd have other guests on at some point?
For our 4-man. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll figure it out.
I think this year I'm excited. We got
A lot of growth coming this year.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.
Any last thoughts here?
Go Vikings.
Yeah. And then if they don't make it, go Eagles.
Go whoever is against.
I bet the
Patriots.
Patriots win at this point.
Well, that's the thing they were saying is like they were saying that this is probably his easiest road to the Super Bowl. He had a first round bye, had to beat the Titans, and then had to beat the Jags.
I
at
bet
home.
your penis
And then-
falls off in your sleep.
And then he could either face
I
Case
doubt that.
Keenum and the Vikings or the Eagles without Carson Wentz. So it's like path is pretty clear and easy.
I guess to me, his hardest matchup, at least defensively, was today, and they won.
They didn't
Yeah.
score that much though.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, they won.
No, but if you have a high scoring team that can score just as much, I think that'll be a better battle.
Yeah,
Like the Vikings.
the
I've
Vikings
talked
aren't
so much.
that high.
I've just talked so much shit this year. I just gotta keep it. I can't just stop
You've been
now.
touting the Vikings all year though.
We have to remind everybody. I mean, if you
No,
just
don't.
rewatch the last episode, he said he wanted the Vikings, and
But
yet he still
picks
chose the Saints.
I know, right, dude?
For someone who's
I called
such-
you out on it too. I was
so
like,
big on
I
the
thought you want
Vikings.
the Vikings.
And then
I
he's
want the
acting like
Vikings.
it doesn't happen.
Oh, I want the Vikings, but I think this team's gonna.
Here's my thing: when I get over cocky, teams lose.
Oh,
so
over
I was
cocky?
scared. I was scared.
Oh.
He's never over cocky.
Yeah, he never gets scared when he's cocky. So.
No.
All right. Well, yeah. See you next time.
Love.
Next
peace.
topic.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Bye.